Hi best ever listeners, 3 quick tips on creating the results that you want for this new year. And this comes from my personal experience on doing daily action that I have taken for my podcast, and that daily actions turned into some pretty big results. With my podcast, Best Real Estate Investing Advice Ever podcast, I have been doing it daily for now a year and a half. I'm pretty sure it's the longest standing real estate podcast that does it daily, at least that I'm aware of. And from that, I've raised over $500,000 and counting from listeners for deals that I've done, just talking about the deals, and then listeners proactively reach out to me and then they end up investing in them, as well as learning on a daily basis a lot of different things that I wouldn't have access to if I didn't interview these wonderful best ever guests. So here are the 3 tips for achieving your goals in 2016 and beyond. It doesn't have to be around a certain calendar year. It could be around whenever the heck you want to have that goal set. So 1 is to create consistent action. What can you do daily on a daily basis? So with my podcast, I identified that it was best to at least try and do it daily and then see if it was good use of my time or not. I ended up doing it sporadically at the beginning, and then once I identified doing it daily, my results just went through the roof. I ended up bringing on a sponsor, and that sponsor was paying for the cost that it would take to actually do the podcast. Then the podcast grew from there. So 1 is do consistent action, 2 on a daily basis. 2 is to involve others. Similar to, or going back to the story where I brought on that sponsor. In order to bring on the sponsor, I had to have an audio engineer to do all the editing for my podcast. And with that audio engineer come costs. So what I did is I involved the audio engineer in the podcast, and I said, what I'll do is I'll give you free advertising on my podcast in exchange for your services for the first couple months while I test it out daily. And through that exchange, I was able to build my podcast audience while not paying for the audio engineering and just exchanging the exposure for his services. And that allowed me, as I was involving others, to achieve the daily podcast and to continue to grow it. And then 3 is to, once you identify your goal, what you're going to do on a consistent basis and who you're going to involve along the way, to take action immediately. Once I knew that I was going to do the podcast daily, I ended up reaching out to first 7 guests that I wanted to have on my show and scheduling interviews. So in summary, when you're achieving your goals, or when you're setting your goals, what you should do is 1, take consistent daily action. It's nice to know what's going on, what you want to accomplish in the long run, but what are you going to do on a daily basis to reach that goal? Number 2, involve others. You want to involve as many people as possible. It makes you more accountable. And then number 3, you want to not only involve others, but you want to make sure that what you have set, you immediately act on. So 1, 2, 3, hope you have the best ever week. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, go ahead and click the subscribe button, and I'll talk to you next week.